friends, here we go again. Today here with Streetball basketball video gaming. I have a few games here and I can tell you my story, what I have experienced. But before we start, I have my iced tea here, I'm thirsty. But I want to say a few words about the last video. The video where I had the mask on the gangster court. And right back we see the first video what I made on the gangster court, you know. I have the rights for the video, so we can make it on television now. But now, wait. I love this ice day, you know. I'm not sponsored, but I have a Penner again today. This is so great, you know. I could have bottles here. Penner sent me bottles. You know what I mean? You know, I'm a kid from the 90s, originally from the 80s, but 90s. And so we have games here from the 90s. We will come to this. I have a few stories. We discuss a few games. And that was great, you know, really great. Maybe you know some of the games. Maybe you are younger. You have newer games, but we also have this here. So let's discuss it. Great. So now we can start into it. The last video on the gangster court what I made, it is called the Winter Edition 3. If you don't know this, when you're new to the channel, I always make a summer edition and a winter edition. Most of the time 2 videos, 2 summer edition videos and 2 winter edition videos. Now this winter we have 3 winter edition videos, and these are the best videos. You know, I put in a lot of work for this. That lasts some time. You cannot make this in one day, but I love those things, you know. To the other ball videos and other videos what we make. And this winter edition video I had the mask on a gangster court. I will tell you something about that. I wanted to make this video for almost a half a year. You know, this was half a year in the planning. But I could never realize it, because you don't know how often I went there. First we had the Bagger Lake court at the nice Bagger Lake. I went there so many times in winter, and you cannot believe it that there always were people in. Oh, we have to be careful because advertisement is in my videos. Shit, that is not good. That is not good. I have to put it away. Shit, I didn't think about that. You know, I have advertisement in my videos, but I get nothing for it. All gets YouTube. That you have to know. On other channels, when you see long advertisement, when they have many subscribers, they do the advertisement in. They get the money. They say, I need long advertisement because my people, they shall watch long advertisement, you know. Then I get paid more and more. I earn more, you know what I mean. So I have to put it away, because then I don't have the copyright on the advertisement videos. So, and on the Bagger Lake court, and then we went to the gangster court, you know, those on the winter edition 3 video. You don't know how often I was there in winter. I always was thinking there is no one there when it is cold. You know, I play there basketball, but it is cold. And you cannot believe it. You go there, and what was? There were people in ice swimming. You know, I couldn't believe my eyes. I had my cap on, everything, and they were going out of the water, relaxing with the towel, you know, and I wanted to make a video where no one is in, where I could make the whole round with no one in. You know, that's really difficult. And that was one part, and it was never possible. And then on the gangster court, you know, with the mask on, normally I don't play with the mask. Normally I don't fake things, but that was what I had in my mind for half a year. And why? Because the gangster court, you have seen it now a little bit. That was the first video what I was making there. The gangster court is called because there we have gravel ground, you know. Can you imagine that? Gravel ground where you play streetball. Yeah, the boards are wooden boards, completely roughed up. They are shaking. And the thing is, when I was a little child, you would not enter there. You had fear. You know, that's why it's called the gangster court. Because back then was the other time. This was the home court for other people, and when you were entering with 5-6 years, you know, you were the smallest, the thinnest, you know, the most slim guy, and there the older guys, they wobbled you out, you know. You could not do this. Nowadays it's the complete other side. Nowadays I have experienced that. I was playing on one basket and there is someone entering in, no hello, nothing, and plays on the same court as I do. You know, back then it is impossible. You know, you would get kicked out. Every area had their home court. So this is the gangster court. And on the other side, I made always an ironic video about the gangster court. Because, first of all, I have always my mask on, because there's a lot of dust when you dribble in summer, you know. And on the other side, there is you have seen how many, what you are not allowed to do there. You are allowed for nothing in there, you know, skateboarding, roller skating. You know, how should you roller skate in there? This is crazy. But the best thing is, there is an age rule. On that gangster court, you can only enter in, now listen up, the last age what you can enter in is 16 years. Over 16 years you are not allowed to enter in. These are the rules there. So I always make an ironic video about the gangster court, you know, on both sides. But the other thing is, you know me, I'm a street baller since 1991. And my first courts were on the streets. I learned it on the streets where cars were driving beside, you know. And that court, that would be a dream if I would have this back in the days. You know, that would be a dream place. A gravel ground gangster court. So I liked this place very much. And so that was the reason why I was entering in with the mask as the real gangster court, you know. And nowadays when I'm in, there will happen nothing. Because when I see bad things, or guys will let someone not in, you know, that doesn't go. You know, in streetball there is respect and everyone can play. If you are not good or the best, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But when you have a bad behavior, then go out. You know, we people look that you go out. Because streetball is always respect. That I wanted to say. And the other thing, have you heard it? Billie Eilish is coming to Austria. You know, my country is Austria. And she's coming. You know what there will go? You know, but it's next year. That I wanted to say. It's next year. But can you imagine what there will go? I don't know. I can tell you another story. Back in the days, a famous musician was here, Prince. You know, maybe when you are young you will not know it that much, but the older ones will know it. You know, Michael Jackson, Prince. You know, and Prince was here and making a Furioso concert. And later on, he always gave, back in the days, famous after show concerts. You know, after his regular concert, he gave another one where he played complete other songs. Always after midnight. You know, at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. And he also has planned this in Vienna. You know, back in the days, this was in Vienna. And he was really in a club in the night. But the thing was, people were waiting after this grandiose concert in 2 clubs, you know, but this was always an insider information normally, and it was in the Otterkringer Brauerei and in the famous Porgy and Bess Club. And Prince really was private a few days before in the Porgy and Bess Club to check it up. He was really in there. And then people waited in those 2 locations after midnight because they thought he were entering in. But I tell you a story. Prince was not entering in both of those clubs. He was not. But he was in the Hotel Imperial in Vienna, and he was giving there a private after show at around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, in Hotel Imperial. And I can confirm you this for 100%. 100%. So what do you think what will go when Billie Eilish is coming? So now we're entering into the video of today. I have the games here. I like this video. I take a few. I don't know how it's called. You know, I drink something. Great. The Fenner lemon. Yeah, lemon. lemon lime. So here we have the games. We start with this side. I have this side and this side. There is a reason, because those games I don't have that long. You know, I bought them back in the days. We didn't have that many games. You know, you had to go to a shop, you had to buy it. And when you were younger, by me it was so, you got a game at Christmas and at birthday. I had always birthday in summer, and in winter was Christmas. The games were expensive. You got one game, and so you could not have that many games like it's nowadays. You know what I think? There was no downloading, nothing. And I had a lot of other games, you know, that is a reason, but I tell you something. So these are newer games. We start with this Streetball games, you know. I'm a streetballer. That is also bad. I'm proud to call myself a streetballer, you know, and not a basketballer. I'm a streetballer because I learned it in the streets. I played only outdoor. I play in winter and summer and all that stuff, you know. So here we have it. This is street home court. These are nice games, you know, but I cannot tell you that much to you because the games are a little bit damaged. I bought this, you know, these are second-hand games, and they had a few things on the disc, and so now you can only play a little bit and then it doesn't go more far. But it is a relaxing game, you know. If you like Streetball, you will fit in with all of those games. This is then a favor what you like more, you know, from the camera angle, from the story, from the playability. There I don't know, but I like them all. Street home court, you know, really nice. As a streetballer, you can live with that really great, you know. Then this game, also, this this is the I didn't have seen it now from the back side. This is a famous game, you know, the Street Foul 3. The thing is, this game I bought for the wrong Xbox, you know. I have only the Xbox 360 and this game doesn't fit in. I cannot play this game on my old console, you know. My old console, the 360 Xbox, was damaged, you know. I also got this from another guy who not sold it to me, he gave it to me. He said, you can have my old Xbox here, take it, a few games, but the disc in there is damaged, you know, I couldn't repair it, and so I bought a new one, but also second hand. And I got a little bit tricked because there was no hard disk in, you know, to save things. But thankfully I had my old one and I could put the save disk on the other Xbox. And then I saw this game. No, this is for the other Xbox. I cannot play it. But I can tell you a story. This is one of the most famous streetball games. But this is the number 3, you know. 3 was also good, but there exists the number 2, you know. Street 2 is one of the best streetball games for video gaming, you know, for all consoles, all decades. So when you watch out, it is available on the GameCube, on the Xbox, and I don't know, PlayStation 2, I think, you know, but I never had the PlayStation 2. I had the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 4 Pro, you know, but I had the GameCube. But on the GameCube I didn't get this, it was too expensive to me. So yeah, but this is really great. You can buy this, I guarantee you it. But number 2 was a legendary game back then. There it comes now, when you live nowadays, if you want to go back in graphic, in old style, you know, that depends. When you say I only want the newest shit, then maybe you will not go back, you know, because nowadays the quality gets better, but that was a legendary game. So watch out if you are a streetball and like gaming and you don't know it, the number 2, that is great. Here also that I have played, Ballers, also a very nice game, completely other a little bit, but I cannot say too much, you know, I have not played it that much and not for a long time. So I didn't have those games back in the days, I bought them nowadays, you know. but also this really all are nice. As a street baller, I enjoy them all. So I'm happy with all 3 that I didn't have played, but I have seen so many videos, so this is absolutely great. So I wanted to make it with the other camera too, that I can show you. So I will put on now this camera, because in the wide angle you will not see that much. So we go again into it. Here we have this game, Street Home Court, the first one. Then we go on with the other one. So with the Street V3, yeah, you can watch here a little bit. Now here I don't have the light in the back of me, but you see a little bit. So really nice. I show you also on the first one, on the Street Home Court, the back side that you see. So yeah, you see real street ball, really cool. And the third one, the ballers. Here, this one, ballers, the chosen one, only small pictures, but yeah, nice locations, real street ball. So now we go to the games what I can tell you a little bit more. And so here we are. Those were the games what I had. These are not many, because I had a lot of other sports in gaming, especially I liked ice hockey playing so much. I liked a few tennis games, but most of all I liked racing, you know, racing. Rally racing, that was fantastic. You know, back in the days, PlayStation 1, Colin McRae Rally. You don't know how often we played this, you know, with friends. And really, wow, that was fantastic. Colin McRae Rally. And then later on I had almost all rally games. You know, I have a seat where I can drive. Really cool. And of course Mario Kart. You know, I played Mario Kart so often on the GameCube, Double Dash Mario Kart, and then on and on. So, but we will start with this one. This was on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. I got this around, I would say, 1995, 1996, 1997 maybe. And that game was a collection, you know. Back then, that was not an original disc. That was in different countries. I got it in Spain. I cannot tell you if it was in Ibiza or in Mallorca. There is the price on 5,695 pesetas. You know, back in the days in Spain they had pesetas, and there you always have seen a few games, and that was great. Wow, 15 games in one. I will show you that with that camera now, that you see it. So here, this is the game, 15 in one. You had a few games on there, all sport games, and here we have seen some games, but you never have known if these games are really if they are functioning, you know. But I remember there was one basketball game in there, so I cannot guarantee you the name, but here it is, NBA All-Star 2. I don't know if it really is this game or not, but that was what I remember, not great, but it was okay. It was completely other. You could play, I think, Oscar Robertson, but I don't, Oscar Robinson, but I cannot guarantee you it. But I remember that a little bit. But you see, there was a other thing on, NBA Jam Sessions, but I tell you, there were not all games in what I remember back. So that I only played a few times, yeah. But yeah, on holiday it was also nice, but I think there was a little bit with shooting that made fun, but the games not. But I know I had not played it that much. So later on, we start in the middle. In the middle, around 2000, I got this game, the NBA Live 2000 EA Sports. You see, Tim Duncan is on San Antonio Spurs. So, and I show you with the other camera that you see it. That is the only real basketball game what I had, you know, NBA Live 2000. Real NBA game. Yeah, I will not see it that perfect now. But I played this also a lot of times on the PlayStation. I think it, yeah, 2000 around. And yeah, I played it, but not that often, you know. I had other games, skateboarding, exactly. Skateboarding was also a big part, Tony Hawk skateboarding. You know, that was fantastic. That made so much fun. But this also, a few times I played it, but not, it was not the game what I played most. But now come those 3 games what I played really, really well, and where I can tell you a lot of things. We start with the original Game Boy, and this is one of the most legendary basketball games of all basketball games. You know, not only Streetball, all basketball games. From back then to nowadays, this is one of the most known, maybe the most legendary game of them all. Here we have it, NBA Jam. The original one on the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. This was in 1994, what I remember back. I think 1994. If you don't know this game, this is maybe the most iconic series of them all. I show you with the other camera. This is the original package from back then. You know, from 1994, NBA Jam Game Boy. You know, with the cartridges. You will see it, I think, 1994. Yeah, here it stands. You will not see it sharp with the GoPro. 1994. And that was Streetball in perfection. You always play 2 versus 2. You know, 2 player versus 2 players. You could make dunks. You see it here. Completely high in the air. And then this legendary sentence, what was there? Boom shakalaka. Boom shakalaka. That was, I mean, that was like, this is iconic, you know, back then, fantastic, you know. So this game really, really, absolutely outstanding. And then there come the version 2, you know, but they called it in the other way. Here we have it. It was called NBA Jam TE, the tournament edition. And that is the most legendary game of the series. You know, that is much better than the first one. But it is almost the same. There is not much other. The thing is, you had much more players. I think twice as much as the original NBA Jam. And when you had this edition, you know, it was the complete game, same gameplay. 2 versus 2. And when you had this game, and also this, you never ever played this game again, only the tournament edition, because more players, and I think a few dunks were a bit better, you know, a little bit, but because of the more players, that was fantastic, you know, outstanding. That was around 1995, and I can tell you, I have played those 2 games so often in 1994 and 1995. I told this once in the 90s video what I made, you know. I had 3 videos about the 90s. And you see it here. The players, we read it. Vlade Divac, Nick Van Exel, Patrick Ewing, Starks, then Johnson. What was, I don't know, those from the Spurs. Chicago, it was Pippen and Armstrong. Why not Dennis Rodman? Why not Michael Jordan? And then you see San Antonio Spurs back in the days. There was playing Dennis Rodman and Sean Elliott. You know, Rodman was Spurs. This was when I was entering in. Rodman was by the Spurs. But before, the Detroit Pistons, you know, the famous bad Detroit Pistons who went up to Jordan, you know, with Isaiah Thomas, Rodman, the Jordan rule what they had. Then we have the Charlotte Hornets with Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning, you know, my favorite team of all time. Then the famous Houston Rockets, you know, I have a video, VHS 1994 champion Houston Rockets. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon, one of my favorite players, and Clyde Drexler. Great. And then we have Robinson, Kidd, you know. You see this were All-Stars, the right one. Yeah, and that game. You see that was not in color back then. On the Game Boy, they had no colors. But NBA Jam TE, well, I tell you, I put it away now on the camera also. So I have played this game always when I went, before I went to school, you know. I tell you that it was in the same flat as I'm here right now with my grandmother, and I was playing by breakfast, you know, in the kitchen, and playing, and she always said, hurry up, you have to go to school, now eat, and I know, wait, I cannot keep it, I come to the next level, you know, I win, and that was, I remember that like it was yesterday. It was around 1994, 1995, you know, when I was playing this. That was fantastic. Those two games I played so often, and also later on. Fantastic. But you have to know, those games were also available in color. And they existed on the Super Nintendo and on the Sega Mega Drive or the Genesis. You know, Mega Drive was Europe and the Genesis was in the US. The Sega, the same. The 16-bit era, you know, Sega Mega Drive always was the better one than Super Nintendo. I have to say this as a Sega fan with a smile, you know what I mean. I never had the Super Nintendo, but Sega was great. And there, those games existed, but in color, and they were legendary, you know. They always said on the Sega it was a little bit better, but I don't know, you know what I mean. And that was cool. And I tell you another story. There were the same game as an arcade game, and I think I remember back the arcade game was before the Super Nintendo, you know, but I cannot confirm this 100%, I cannot, or it was so that the games to Europe came later on, and in the US and in Japan it was first, I don't know, but the arcade game, you know, in those nice arcade halls. Nowadays people, I think, don't know, younger people, what this is. I don't see here, no, not one, but also back in the days here we had not one such a room. But on holidays always, in Italy, in Spain, there were those famous arcade machines, you know, with video gaming. Street Fighter was legendary, but what we played Street Fighters on those big consoles, you know, we were entering in a like a real big room, and there you had 20, 30, 40, 50 arcade. So we are back, camera was overheating, I only have a GoPro, so I cannot make more now. So in those rooms, big rooms, there were also racing machines, you know, they were also legendary. Sega Rally, you know, we are back by Sega. Sega Rally was also famous back then, and they always had a billiard table in there to play soccer, you know, table soccer, or how it's called in English. And these were our rooms in the early 90s. That was fantastic, you know. They were full packed with people. I showed once a picture where I was in Marbella, or no, Mallorca, Marbella it was, yeah. That was crazy. You always had to put in a coin, you know, and then you could play. And there was NBA Jam. And I have seen those machines back in the days, especially in Italy, you know, on the Jesolo and such things. There they had it. It was fantastic. That was mind-blowing. Back then, the graphic from NBA Jam arcade game on the arcade machine. This graphic was like, when you were young, that was like you are in the future, you know, that fast running with those joysticks, what I remember. So arcade was most say better than the games on the consoles, you know. But here we didn't have this, but I have seen it and played it. It was fantastic. It was also like yesterday. It has to be, I don't know, 1995. At that time where I played this, you know, my time NBA was 1994. That was my main time in the NBA. You know, with all the players. You know, I like the Seattle Supersonics, the New York Knicks, the Detroit Pistons, of course, my favorite team, the Charlotte Hornets and the Los Angeles Lakers. These were my favorite teams, what I always had, you know, back in the days. And yeah, so the arcade game, fantastic. And then we come to our last game. But before we come to this, I will mention a few other games what I know, but what I don't have. There were hundreds of games, you know what I mean? Only from that series. There were a lot of games, you know, and there were Streetball games and one Streetball, you know. Many people, especially younger people, don't know what and one is. You know, and one was the beginning of a Streetball era, you know. That was also fantastic. You know, Streetball was there before and one, but and one revolutioned it with the tricks and all that. That was stuff what you have never seen before, you know. When the VHS and then the DVD came out, you have never experienced such a style, you know, and that was, everyone wanted to play Streetball, you know, it was such a hyped thing what was coming up. And there is a game, the And One Streetball game, I think it's called. Also, I think a cool game. I've seen a lot of stuff, but I have not played it. And then a few others, and there's the other one which is called Hang Time. And Hang Time is almost like the NBA Jam game, you know, 2 versus 2, but the NBA Jam is a little bit better, what I know, you know, but I have not played the Hang Time. I didn't know this game back then, or I don't know when it came out, but I never had it, but I know it, you know. So, and now we come to our last game, a newer game, the newest what I have here, and this is one what I really played so long, so often. Also nowadays I played NBA Playgrounds 2, you know. And that is what I can tell you, to me, like the newer version of the NBA Jam series. The same principle, 2 players versus 2 players on real streetball courts, you know, it is an arcade game more. With dunks where you can jump up 10 meters and make all things, you know, for dunking. I show you that with the other camera too. And there you can play all the famous names, you know, all, wait, I have to now it goes, here you see it, NBA Playgrounds 2 from 2K. And that is really nice, you know. And there I have one court which I can play the whole day. I have played only this one court, I don't know, for 2, 3, 4 hours, you know. Always the same music in there, the Halloween court, you know. The Halloween court with that music when you're entering in, that is to me real Streetball, you know. But that is really, if you like NBA Jam, go with this game, you know. Don't go with the original NBA games, go with this game, you know. Of course, when you have experienced all tricks, then it can get a little bit boring when you play against the computer. When you play with a friend, fantastic. But to enjoy, to relax, put in your favorite chord. To me it's the Halloween chord, and then what? The music, so hip-hop sound, a little bit mysterious and fantastic, you know. Really a cool game. You have a lot of things in there. NBA Playgrounds 2, the new NBA Jam, what I call it. It's also now older, I don't know, 2018, you know, and I still play it. So really cool. Yeah, these are the games what I wanted to show you. There are a lot of more games, you know. Back then on the Sega Mega Drive Genesis, I played the hockey game, Mario Lemieux Hockey, for example. That was the game what I played hours for hours, year for year, you know. But these are the games, you have seen it now. Really nice time, and there will come a few more games. So, we will see us again. I hope you have enjoyed it. As always, until then, bye and ciao.